Headphones good?
Yes, sir. They're good.
All right, let's get it.
Yo! Catch you on the rebound.
Catch you on a rebound.
There
Garrett Bradford is in the building. Make some noise for Garrett Bradford.
Thank you. The crowd goes wild. The live studio audience goes wild.
Yes, sir. My man, straight from All Saints.
That's right.
Straight out of Fort Worth.
Weatherford.
Weatherford.
But Fort Worth is the closest big town. So
Fort Worth, Weatherford.
Gotta go by that.
Yeah. Weatherford kind of out there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, obviously, man, like, we met at All Saints.
In high school, yeah. Me and you met in high school.
Yep.
Private school in Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
I was, I went there for a while.
Okay.
It's funny.
How long had you been there?
Gosh, at least 6 years at the least. I'm trying to remember what year you came there.
I came in 2008 because I came as a freshman in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we went to high school together. We've kept up with each other ever since through social media mostly.
Through social.
I like watching you throw down those dunks, man.
Try to do it, man. Just try to keep the ball rolling as long as I can.
Might as well. That's all we can do.
Yes, sir.
That's all we can do.
So, okay. So tell me about when you first got to All Saints. So if you got there 6 years, you came in what, middle school?
Oh, well, actually, no. I came in elementary school, so I guess it's been even longer than that. Yeah,
okay.
So I'm from Weatherford, which is a little town west of Fort Worth. And
that's more country than city.
Big time, yeah. Especially at that time. It's growing now, but it was really small then. Okay. My folks have a ranch out there, and they're into livestock, cattle and horses and everything, and they really wanted me to, go to college and get a good education, and so they prioritized education. They wanted to send me to a private school.
As our parents
which I
do.
made, and it was great. I mean, the school was great. I learned a lot, but I never felt like I really fit in at all, and I don't think you did either. That's what
I think any
funny.
of us did, yeah.
It's like you and like Big O.
Yeah.
There's like a couple of black dudes there.
Yeah.
In my country.
Yep.
Ass,
You just like being black, bro. Being from the country, not the city, is just like being black.
Me and my buddy were talking about that the other day. He's like, yeah, I think black folks and country folks are have the most in common, but a lot of people think they don't. I was like, yeah, that's pretty much true, Yeah. But I mean, I had a lot of good friends there. I'm not speaking ill of anybody, but I didn't live nearby, so going there before I had a driver's license, I never hung out with anybody outside of school. We lived 35, 40 minutes away, so yeah. So
I hear that, and like you say, man, we definitely had a lot of friends and a lot of good experiences out there, man.
It was great. It's a great school.
Yeah, like the bonfires, just like going to the parties. Like I had never drank beer and stuff like that. Like black people don't really drink beer.
No.
So that's like the first time I drank beer. I did a lot of stuff, man. But like you say, I never actually felt really comfortable in my own skin. I felt like I had to be something else so that everybody else could accept me.
Oh, I totally well, yeah, it's just a different crowd, Yeah. Just depends on where you're at. Some places I feel like a fish in water, and some places I feel like a fish in the desert.
That's some country shit, man.
But honestly, I mean, the older I get, the more people I'm around, I feel like I just I'm kind of happy in any crowd,
That's good.
There might be a few crowds that might freak me out a little bit. There might be some types of people that I'd never met, but most people, I feel like I've met everybody now, so I get along with everybody.
That's a good place to be, man. And I kind of see what you mean, you just open to meeting anybody, any culture, any race, and just not feeling like it's really a lot of differences between us. You know what I mean?
Usually you have a lot in common with people, a lot more than you think. I always say. Which it doesn't, whatever the difference in somebody is, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, or if it's what country you're from or something, I always think of if you were alone on a desert island, right, and you hadn't seen anybody in 10 years, and they dropped off somebody that was whatever. Yeah. If you hate Trump, then they dropped off a Trump supporter. You would be so happy to see him. You would not care about all that little stuff that divides you.
Yep.
You would just be like, oh my gosh, because really, 99% of the things people do, breathe, drink water, travel, whatever, we all do the same things.
Simple stuff.
We divide ourselves on a really small percentage of who we really are.
That's true.
So I always think about it like that. It's like, you usually can think of something you got in common with anybody.
When in like having played basketball overseas, like if you're an American and you see another American, it's just like that.
Oh, I bet.
It's like, where are you from? Like, what are you doing over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting because like not everybody speak English all the time. So
right.
like,
You're just glad to have somebody that can understand you.
Yeah, yeah, man. So it's cool if I'm walking around and I like hear English. I'm like, I'm about to go talk to that person.
Where are you from?
Yeah, yeah. So talk to us a little bit about what it is that you do right now, like where that all stemmed from.
Yeah. So when I got out of high school, I went to college a couple of times. I never finished. I went to a few different. I kind of made a tour, and tried to go to all the colleges and not finish at any of them.
Okay.
And then I started a little business. I work for myself I do a lot of things. During the week, I do tree work, like tree trimming and tree removal, land clearing, stuff like that. Out where I live, there's a lot of that. And then also I'm a musician, so I'm a songwriter, singer-songwriter, and I play gigs. About to release my debut record or EP. Okay. So, and I've been doing it a long time. It's really crazy why I haven't already had music out there, but there's just a lot of things that have come up in the last 10 years that have kept me from doing that. But it's worked out really well because I'm excited now. I feel like I'm really putting out something that I'm happy with. Okay. And if I'd have done it 10 years ago or 8 years ago or 6 years ago, I don't think it would have been as good, As
far as like quality?
Right, yeah. Okay. You just get better as a musician and as a songwriter. At least I hope I get better.
Yeah, I hear that.
I'm trying to get better.
And we're going to give y'all a little taste of some of his music in a minute, so y'all stay put.
Yeah, we'll get a little taste. It hasn't been released yet. This is going to be like the first time on
Yes, sir. World premiere. Yes, sir.
That's what we're doing over here.
That's what we're doing over here. Catch you on the rebound,
man.
That's
right. Exclusive.
Exclusive.
I need like one of those drops where it's like, get you on the rebound. Exclusive.
all I can do is like bring that in real quick and edit it out. Yes, sir, man.
Like the DJ Khaled thing.
Yeah, like Khaled.
Get you on the rebound. Right in the middle of the song.
Randomly. Yo, you funny, man. You might need your own show, man.
I thought about it before. Really? Me and my friend, we were talking the other day about, I've got a buddy in Weatherford, and we're super not alike in a lot of ways, but also
but that's good though.
So we always discuss things.
Yeah.
And anytime me and him discuss stuff, at least we're really interested. I don't know if people will be interested to hear it, but we just really like each other, and we have different viewpoints on things. Really, whatever it is, we probably think different on it. So we're thinking about doing something. It'd be fun to interview people or just to talk about whatever.
I should, man.
Like a variety show, man. We might talk about UFOs. We might. Who knows?
Are you into all of that stuff, man? Like conspiracy theories?
I'm into some, definitely. Okay. I'm not sure about the aliens and stuff. You know, I ain't never seen any, but
give me one. Give me one that you believe.
I mean, I don't think we went to the moon in 1969.
I'm right there with you.
But that's a pretty, that was really crazy to say 15 years ago. But now I'm not going to say I don't think we've ever been to the moon. Okay. I wouldn't surprise me if we had been to the moon. Okay. But if that was really the first time, there's no way they would have put it live on TV, man. What if it blew up?
Yeah, like something bad happened.
I just don't believe. I wouldn't do that. They got more guts than me if they did that. That'd be like the first time I played guitar going on the TV or something.
Yeah. Okay, like, live, and you knew it was going to be bad.
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know whether we went to the moon or not. I don't think we did. Not that time. At least not the way that, it showed up on TV. And
it's like, they made it extra dramatic.
Yeah, they might have, pre-recorded it or something.
Man, come on, man. We live in a country that just makes movies, man. Like, come on. Yeah. Like, that's a set.
Yeah, it's easy. I would have faked. Here's the thing. If I was in charge, I would have faked it. So
you would have faked it?
Yeah. I would have been let's just not go and say we did.
Hey, man, that probably happens behind the scenes with a lot of stuff, but yeah.
Who knows? I don't want to get too far into that because some of the things I believe, some people might think are real crazy.
Hey, I'm right there with you, man. I'm telling you, and it's not crazy. It's just the average person wouldn't their mind doesn't go that far. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I don't really. Some things I may not believe, but I'll hear somebody out. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can't really see it with my own eyes and stuff, I'm not gonna get. If somebody thinks something different, I had this dude. His name's Blue Just Right. Actually, he's a rapper. He lives in Midland, out in Odessa. And I had to give man a shout out, dude. He's awesome. He's fixing to have an EP come out. I met him through a friend in the studio, and he was like saying, well, I don't want to put him on blast, but he was. Yeah. We were talking about whether the world's flat or not, and I was like, man, I said, I don't know. I said, I ain't really got no opinion on it. I mean,
Yeah, it's not like it really matters. It's gonna make a difference.
It ain't gonna change what I do tomorrow.
True.
It could be flat or round. It could be a square. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna have to go to work or whatever.
What was that? What was that first time for you? Like when you realized that you could play the guitar. What did that feel like?
Oh, it was awesome. My uncle lived up the road, and he had a guitar.
Okay.
And I would go up there, and he showed me a few chords on it, and I was maybe 11 or 12, and I think, for a while I was just trying to figure out how to. But once I put two chords together, and then it sounded more like I was actually going to be able to make music, and it was like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I talked my dad, and I would go back and forth. I'd walk up to his house, which we live kind of out in the country, so I say he's a neighbor, but it's a pretty good ways away.
Some miles away.
And I would go up there and play his guitar, and then my dad got me one. Went to the pawn shop and got me one, and ever since then I've just been really into it. It's
man, my dad got me one too, and it's just sitting at the house collecting dust.
Never too late to start, man.
Hey, I mess around with it, and my niece like to play around with it, so maybe one day, man. It'd be a nice hobby.
Yeah, kids can really pick it. I wish I would have started younger. If you start a child out when there's no age that's too young.
That's
but
true.
They've proven that they can learn so fast. That's why you see some of these little prodigies, that on the internet that are just nuts. But if you start them out young, if they have an interest in it.
Nina Simone?
Yeah.
So she started like 4, 3 or something like that?
Back in the day, people, I would imagine, I was watching that movie with Jamie Foxx in it about Ray Charles last night.
Okay.
Ray.
Okay.
I think it's called. And just showing him as a kid, and you think about nowadays we have so many distractions, but how awesome having an instrument and playing music would have been before the internet and TV.
Okay.
I mean, think about it, man. That would have been the coolest thing ever if you could do that.
That's true.
Whereas now people are really, they're hard to entertain now, you know. You gotta dance and sing and
everything.
Do it all.
You do. I feel like that's like, in this day and age, that's really the only way to get through to people is to like entertain them.
You really have to entertain.
Like you have to.
I try to have the mentality. I didn't for a long time, but I try to have the mentality is just like I'm not really a singer. I'm not really a songwriter. I'm an entertainer, So whenever I'm playing live gigs and things, man, like I tell jokes and I talk a lot.
That's smart.
Because really, that's what it's about. And it takes a while to get good at that. And I'm not sure I'm a lot better than I used to be. I'm very comfortable doing it, and it's working a lot better. But you figure out what works and just tell stories about why you wrote this song or that song.
Yeah, that's true.
Trying to,
get them like more engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to have a little connection with people.
I hear that.
Because there's really so much music, and there's so much good music, and this is true with a lot of creative endeavors. I don't care what it is, if you're a videographer, or if you're or it could even be like a basketball player. I mean, as well as anybody. There's a lot of good basketball players.
True.
They could be in the NBA. So
it's true.
You can't just rely on skill alone. At least with music, you can't just be like, oh yeah, well I'm really good, so people are just gonna find me.
You gotta bring something else.
Yeah, you have to work for it, if you really want it.
It's true.
So do you sit around?
Do you study you talked about kind of like engaging more with your audience, like the stage set, the lighting, like all of that stuff. Do you like study that stuff as well?
I don't think
production
I'm to the
side
level.
of it.
I would like to. I think whenever I get to that level, that'll be something that really interests me. I don't really. I mean, I ain't trying to BS anybody. I'm playing small gigs, and to relatively small audiences. I mean, I have played at some big places at festivals and things like that, but most of the time it's really more of it's really like, and I love playing just acoustic shows where I'm by myself.
Okay.
And it's really just more like
intimate, small setting.
Right. You know, trying to make them feel like you're playing for them in their living room.
Yeah.
And make a genuine, you know, connection, not be crazy or just do something to get attention or dance around or whatever, you know. True. Just try to be authentic.
Okay.
Because people can spot phony, especially nowadays. You know, if somebody's phony, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you know, if you're putting on an act. People are very, very aware of that nowadays. I don't think they were, because you look at some of the stuff back in the day, like the movies and even the music, even though some of it was wonderful. Yeah. Some of the way they dressed and stuff was just like ridiculous. Yeah, it was like a trend that just didn't last. Yeah, it's for the moment. But you know, you can't get away with that as much anymore, at least in my opinion. So, even though I think back in the day there was probably more talented artists, you know, I mean, some of those people. Well, I don't know. That's hard to say because there's a lot of people who can be, because of how easy it is to get out there nowadays. There's a lot of people out there, in my opinion, who, you know, maybe are not excellent or really good, but they're able to put themselves out there. But back in the day, you know, you had to have a record deal, and there was less famous people, you know. I get it, because it's hard. There's probably more talented artists nowadays than there ever has been, but it's just oversaturated, you know. You got to go through 20 bad ones to get to a good one. That's true. And back in the day, you know, for the most part, like, they could all sing. That's some big stars, yo. Yeah. Some big names, man. Like that movie I was watching last night with Ray Charles. I mean, man, unbelievable amount of talent. Yeah. I mean, just unreal, you know? Something that you maybe don't see a lot of nowadays, or it's in a different form. Yeah. Music's changed, but people are so distracted nowadays, you know, people don't, and I'm guilty of this myself, you know, you spend a lot of time watching TV or looking up videos, or, you know, I'm so bad about, I'll get on YouTube and be looking up how to do stuff so much and not practicing enough. I get you. I understand what you're saying. Because it's just so much information out there about everything. Sometimes you got to dial it back, you know. You got to just live. Like, yeah, you just got to cut your brain off for a second. Yeah, that's a hard thing to do nowadays. It's funny. I think we were talking about that on the phone. We were talking about getting control of your mindset and things like that. And I think one of the reasons people have a lot of trouble doing that, especially nowadays, is just not being able to slow their mind down. True. Going from one piece of entertainment or to the next, you know, and you never really have time to sit around and think about what's going on, you know, in your life, or really solitude and quiet. That's true. It can be really good for you to put things in perspective. So you, you grew up in the country, and and like Fort Worth is not very country, but compared to Dallas, it's like much slower. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just for me, like being able to like escape the city and go to like a place like Fort Worth, which is not country, but it's much slower than the city. It definitely has a country vibe to it. It has a country vibe to it. I mean, they call it Cowtown for a reason. And it's like, I'm at peace there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In the city, it's like, it's a lot going on. Like, you feel like you're trying to like keep up with whatever is it, and you're trying to like, trying to be accepted. You know what I mean? As opposed to like being in the country where it's like you really don't care. Yeah. You really don't care how people feel. You don't really care about anything, honestly. Yeah, it's definitely a different feel. I mean, I know whenever I come to just like today, I'm so used to not. I mean, I've been around. I've gotten to travel all over and do some things like that. Maybe not as much as you, but but it's like, man, getting into the city and the traffic and stuff. Man, it stresses me out big time. Oh yeah. Like, if there's one thing that I'm pretty good about, keeping my emotions under control and not getting freaked out, not having anxiety. But you seem like pretty calm, dude. I'm pretty calm. Yeah. But get me in some traffic somewhere I don't know, trying to get to somewhere I've never been in a city, I'll be freaking out. Really? Man. Oh, okay. Bad. Yeah. I'm just not used to it, you know? Not used to it at all. We're gonna take a break, man. We're gonna play one of your songs. This is Garrett Bradford, River of Stars. Yeah. And we about to lay it down, man. So we'll bring this thing in. Got to the drop. Catch you on the rebound exclusive. exclusive. Here we go. Garrett Bradford, River of Stars.
Bradford, country artist, singer from Weatherford, Texas, and we back off in the mix. Your man got him some water. Shout out to Lucid Visuals and Forever Motivated. Lucid Visuals is a audio and visual production company started and created by Anthony Oliphant out of Fort Worth, Texas. Anthony also owns a company called Forever Motivated. Forever Motivated is a clothing brand that has special messages to encourage you and just keep you motivated in your life. So,
and that's awesome.
Back to it.
I love this show. What you were doing, you reached out to me, and I had actually, I think maybe I reached out to you because I seen that you were doing the podcast, and I was like, I wonder what that's about. And I watched a few episodes right when you first started, maybe your first couple of episodes, and I was like, man, that's really a cool thing that they're doing.
Yeah, man, and it's like I kind of like beat myself up about it because it's like so long. It's almost an hour long, but like people's attention span is not that long. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's becoming, there's really a lot of long form type things like this, you know.
Like Joe Rogan's are fucking 2-3 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not at that level yet.
Nah.
One of these days we'll be close,
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that song still playing?
There it is.
I was like,
yeah.
It would have just kept looping. We wouldn't have heard it. It would have just been in the background.
Yeah, in the background, man.
Yeah.
Tell me about your process. I make music as a hobby, bro, because a lot of my friends are like producers.
Right.
And the best stuff I make is like when I just take my time with it. Like I just stay up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning and just like, all right, I'm gonna take this line by line and make sure that everything is like perfect.
For writing, personally, a lot of times I'll have ideas when I'm not trying to do,
they organic.
Like I'm working or something like that. And that's one of the reasons I like what I do because it's pretty physically demanding job. It's manual labor and it's pretty hard, but it doesn't take a big tax on my mind.
Got it.
Sometimes when you, I've worked jobs before. I actually worked at a car dealership for a few months last year. Thought I wanted to do that, and I was like, because I would come home and I hadn't really done anything with my, work, manually, but I was exhausted because my mind was tired. And I never had the energy to play guitar or anything.
From the manual labor or the sales?
From the sales job, being on the computer and it's stressful. To me, it was stressful because I was coming from working for myself, and there's something really satisfying to me. And I think a lot of people find this about, working, being tired, physically tired at the end of the day, just like working out or something, I think it's good for your mind.
True.
And also, I still have energy whenever I get home mentally, and a lot of times just being out there working, a lot of times I'm by myself, just kind of in the quiet. I'll have little ideas will pop into my head and they'll start developing them in the back of my mind while I'm working. Yeah. So
that's cool.
As far as, because I'm also getting into recording, I got a little studio set up at my house. And that's definitely more of like a hands-on, like producing a track or playing these parts, I think that's something you really get in and refine it and figure out what's going on. But for the writing process, to me, it can be pretty spontaneous. And usually the best songs I write them relatively quickly, like in a day, sometimes really quick. Yeah. But, like
when the idea just comes to you and you're like, okay.
Yeah, and get home and get my guitar and usually if it's a good one, it comes pretty quick, which makes sense. Yeah. Like if it's a good idea and it flows out of you, it's kind of intuitive.
I feel that.
I think that's true with a lot of things. If you really force yourself and think about it too much, a lot of times you end up just killing it.
That's true.
And not in a good way. Not killing it like doing good.
Nah, like
ruining it.
Yeah, like burning out almost.
Yeah.
That's true, man. And I had to learn that like the hard way. It's just like an artist doing that or like an athlete trying to just go hard all the time. Go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, and not take that rest, and you end up like burning out, and you either fall out of love with it or you just like you have to like Payman say compartmentalize. Like you can't tackle everything in one day. Like you gotta rest. You gotta do some visual work instead of just physical work. Like you just gotta mix it up and like break it down.
Yeah, you just got to be in a good. I mean, to perform at a high level, doing anything, you have to have your mind. Your head's got to be in a good space.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, especially sports.
Yeah.
Because that takes a lot out of you. I'm sure traveling and I don't know, but you're traveling, and it would be like being on the road on a big tour or something.
It's the same. It's a lot of similarities, bro.
I don't do that yet,
Yeah.
but still, So yeah, you got to compartmentalize, and not burning out is a huge thing. It's one of the reasons why I've never been real eager to try to make music my full-time job.
Okay.
A, because there's not much money in it, and B, because then you start having to take gigs that you wouldn't really normally take because you don't enjoy them. But you got to do it for the money,
Okay. And the love is gone.
Right, you get burnt out.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like if I play somewhere, it's somewhere that I want to play at, or I might try playing at a new place or a new venue, and if I like it, then I'll come back. If not, if the environment sucks, or if the people who hired me and the management aren't cool, then I'm not going to go back for.
I feel that.
I'm not going to go back for $150 because I already have a way to make a living.
Yeah.
So
that's a good place to be in. Yeah.
Right. I'm certainly not wealthy or anything like that, but that keeps the passion in it for me.
Yeah.
And I have played a lot, and there's been times in my life when I was pretty much a full-time musician. But so I think I've gotten a good amount of experience. It's not like I've played since I got out of high school, But at this point, I'm like, if it's not something that either pays really well or is a good opportunity.
True.
And to me, a good opportunity is anywhere where I can feel like I can actually turn somebody into a fan or a friend,
That's true.
Just even one, that's enough for me. Okay. I'll drive to Fort Worth and play a gig somewhere where I know, there's going to be one or two people that really dig it.
That's what's up.
And
yeah, I know what you mean,
it's
man.
worth it.
Yeah.
If you invest in those relationships or that into that network, that person could be a fan for the rest of their life.
That's true.
So it's worth it. You think about the lifetime value. I mean, it's really not about dollars necessarily, but there is a dollar amount, I mean, that person, if they buy every record you put out and come
merchandise
to shows and buy T-shirts and stuff, and also they're going to turn you on to their friends, and it's an exponential effect. It's like a spider web.
Yeah.
I'm just now kind of getting... I'm really just now putting myself out there, like I say, with this EP and stuff, seriously for the first time. Not that I haven't been a serious musician. I mean, I've played a lot.
Yeah.
But as far as really trying to put yourself out there with marketing and things like that, I'm just dipping my toes into that.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, man, you got to shoot your shot, man.
You have
to. What I mean? You'll never know if you don't try.
I mean, and really up until this point, I've had things come up in my life that kept me from doing that. So
well, let's go and hop on into it, man. Let us know what it is.
A few of those.
Yeah.
Which I don't think probably a lot of people don't know this about me, but in 2014, December 2014, the guy who was my best friend at the time, we started that tree trimming and land clearing business together. His name is Colt Bruce. He's a really good guy, a lifelong friend of mine, my best friend. And we were in a car accident, and we ended up, we got in a car accident. We had been out at an establishment, and we're driving back home, and it was just us. I was driving. I wrecked the car into a tree, and he was actually killed. And I got in some trouble over that because, I don't really want to get into the details of the case and all that stuff, but you can probably put two and two together. So, so that happened. That was devastating, though. I mean, to me, it was a life-changing event. It was very traumatic and very sad, and got in trouble and ended up going to jail for a while and got done with that. And then right when I got done with that, I was I'm still on parole until April, actually, 5 years. So, so all that happened. And really, it took me a while to get my head right again.
Yeah, in the right space.
to get back to normal. I mean, I'm never going to be the same,
True.
you know, and I'm not. Everybody goes through things in life that change them forever, and that's a serious, drastic example of one event that makes a lot of change, you know.
True.
So it took me a while to get myself kind of back on my feet mentally, and get back in a position where I felt like I wanted to put myself out there and pursue music, because for a while I didn't care about anything really, you know, just very
Dark
very
place.
down and out. Yeah, very down and out.
Yeah.
Most
What
definitely.
if anything? So like when my dad passed, and like I do this now about everything, I'm like, okay, if he's gone, then there was something that I was supposed to take from like his life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Do you feel like that way about your friend?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a laundry list of things that I tried that, and everybody loved him, man. He was one of those people that was extremely popular for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Because he made people feel good. He was never talked bad about people, things like that. And, I mean, there's a whole litany of things I could go through, you know, things that, but, of course, you know, him being gone now, I really try to, it makes you think about those things, you know, that made you love that guy, you know, that made him my best friend. And obviously, I try to do as many of those things as I can, you know. I try to be that way myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We try to imitation is the best form of flattery. So like, emulate the things that we like in other people.
Yeah. And he had a lot of things to like. So there's a lot of things that I've taken from his life that I think will, you know, hopefully that live on. I know a lot that he lives on through a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, just because of the impact that he had, and he definitely. And there's a lot of things about me that I've taken from him. So
yeah. As we should, man. As we should. I appreciate you sharing that, man.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate you sharing that.
No problem at all.
I mean, it's just like art. Like art is just like a reflection of like the times. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's music, or some people like to paint, or whatever it is. Like I like to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like a form of art for me. I think you could like attest to like music being just a way for you to just get that stuff off of your chest.
Definitely. I mean, even though, like I say, I mean, I wasn't going out. I mean, I never stopped writing songs and playing guitar, even throughout. And in fact, I did it more. You know, when I was having hard times, that was something that either cheered me up, or maybe I was really sad, and maybe it made me sadder. But you know, it's just going through things that you have to go through, and that was always something that was really a big thing to me. When I say that, you know, I didn't put myself out there for a while, I just mean, you know, trying to promote myself, you know. I mean, it was really just me doing it because I love it. And still to this day, it's really what it mostly is at this point, you know. Yeah. It's mostly me doing it because I love it. So I enjoy doing that.
Got it, man. Got it. Well, we got a little break coming up, and we're going to play your second song, the Honkiest of Tonkers.
That's my Instagram name, too, if anybody wants to look me up.
You gotta break this down, man. You got to explain this. What is that?
Have you ever heard of a honky tonk?
I heard of okay, is that what it is?
So I was fishing. I was over in East Texas. I was living there, and I was fishing, and this just came into my mind, the Honkiest of Tonkers. And I was like,
the Honkiest of Tonkers.
Perfect.
It's catchy.
Well,
hey,
just go
it's catchy.
With it. Just go with it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit funny. It's a little bit brash.
It is.
It's just kind of like, so yeah, I need to trademark that or something.
Hey,
because I've looked it up. Nobody's ever said it.
You better.
But I've had it for a while now, you know. Okay. So if people want to borrow it, you know, I'll give them my blessing, you know. They just break me off on the back end.
They might. hey, make sure it's contractual, man.
Yeah.
Sure it's a lot of
give
that.
Give me a cut, man.
Yeah.
Anybody can have any of my songs. Just give me a little cut, you know.
Man, it's like I've always believed like everything under the sun has been done. So like you were saying earlier, like the best musicians and artists have already lived.
Yeah.
And like we just trying to like
and some
recreate
are gonna be
that
in the future though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's very interesting when you think about that.
Yeah.
You're right though. It has all that's why it's so cool. Like to me, that's why I love that. There's other lines that I thought of that surely this has been done before, and when it hasn't, it's really not a big deal if it has, because usually it's not the same context or, you know. Yeah. But when it hasn't been done before, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. If I'm not the first person to think of it, at least I'm the first person in this era to think of it.
Yeah, because people forget.
Yeah.
People forget about songs, you know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. There's too many of them out there. I forget about them all the time.
Yeah. I like when I hear something, man, like, I like in I don't know if they do it in like country, but in hip hop they sample a lot.
Right.
Do they do that in country as well?
Not
really.
But I know what you're talking about in hip hop. I love all the songs with the old samples, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about that last night when I watched that Ray Charles movie because she take my money.
Yeah, that's
He started singing that.
That's right. Of
course, the first time I heard that was probably in high school when they were a Kanye West song, you know? Yeah. But it's cool how those songs live on, you know?
Yeah.
That's super. That's one of the things I really think is cool about hip hop is using samples and things like that. That's just really not that's not how it's kind of unique to hip hop, I guess, or modern music because you know, country and stuff is more about like writing melodies and recording with the band and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it's super cool to think. It's very creative to think about how somebody could take an old song like that and totally transform it into a hook and sample it. I think that's phenomenal.
It's like it's already in our DNA.
Right,
it's like we drink Coca-Cola and then they just gonna give us cherry vanilla Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Like we already used to Coke, so we're gonna try it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you have those familiar sounds, and and I think that's true in even country. I mean, really, there's a lot of commonalities and familiar sounds, instruments, chord progressions. I mean, there's only so many options for chord progression. There's only 12 notes in Western music. That's all there is, and then they just repeat themselves. So So, you know, everything is it's really surprising sometimes how many times, you know, how many different songs across different genres would be the same chord progression. Tons of them.
You would know that, like, as an artist. You kind of just, when you hear it, you know.
Yeah, you sometimes hear it, or sometimes you don't notice it until you go, oh, I'm going to try to play that song. And like, oh, yeah, it's the same progression as this totally different song, you know?
Yeah.
It might be like a pop song, a modern pop song. It's the same progression as some old country song, you know? It's not because they copied them. It's just because, hey, there's only so many options. You know?
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, there's a method to this.
Yeah, 100%.
I get that. Man, I was, my producer friend, like, he's really into, like, they call it digging in the crates. So they go back and, like, they literally go back and listen to songs from, like, 1950s, 1960s.
Yeah.
Like, all genres,
Sure.
and, like, trying to make samples. And he told me about James Brown. So James Brown at one point was doing, like, maybe 250 to 300 shows a year.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine that?
It's like almost one every day.
Can you imagine that?
No.
That's like
James Brown was on some good stuff though, man. He's on them good
And I mean, we can get into that too. Like, so many of, like, the artists and entertainers, like, use, like, drugs and stuff like that.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it sucks, like, when it turns bad, but, like, it's weird that they give us such good music.
Yeah, I used to, you know, because I've been, you know, completely sober since the wreck, and
that's what's up, man.
So I don't know, you know. I mean, I wasn't before. I'm not gonna get into it, but obviously
we all party, man.
And you know, I know a lot of people think that, you know, smoking weed makes more creative and stuff, and that may be true for some people. You know, what I realized is whenever I was sober, it took me a little while to get my mind right. After a couple months, man, this is like I upgraded the processor in my mental computer, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was way better than I was before, you know, and I would have been like, oh no, you know, I wouldn't be able to be creative being a square and being sober and stuff. And honestly, I mean, it works differently for everybody, I'm sure, but I think it is kind of tragic that I think a lot of people in general nowadays, especially artists, though, kind of fall into that trap. And I think a lot of times their creativity suffers because of that, especially if it gets to become an issue, you know, substance
it's like
abuse
of it, yeah.
And it also, you know, leads to not being in a good mental state. You know, a lot of them end up overdosing or committing suicide or something like that, you know. Yeah. That's kind of what happens. And I know from personal experience, when you're always trying to use something to escape your problems instead of dealing with them, and you're just letting all this stuff, all this pain and things that you haven't dealt with build up, you know, until it seems like it's impossible to deal with it, you know.
I feel it. Yeah.
I think that's something a lot of people do.
What is that? The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken.
Oh, man, that's a great quote. That's such a great quote.
Yeah. I can't remember who said that, man. It was like somebody in the government. I love quotes, bro. So I'm always trying to like take little like one-liners like that.
Yeah, little nuggets of knowledge, you know.
Yeah.
You can just, yeah, that's very true, though, you know. I think a lot of times, too, I'm sure for people that are like famous musicians, I wouldn't know, but even not famous musicians, though, if you're touring and partying and around, because, you know, when you're playing music, usually you're always around people that are drinking and partying.
Yeah.
So you don't stand out, you know. Like, you could drink every night. If you played at shows 5 nights a week, you could get totally plowed 5 nights a week. Yeah. And that would just be the thing to do. Nobody would, everybody there would be like, yeah, you know. But at a certain point, it's like, man, I don't know, you know. I don't know if I, just because they're doing it doesn't mean I need to.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Man, just tell us about some of your inspirations that kind of made you want to just, obviously, like you told us, your uncle, but just from like I guess like mainstream and underground. Is there like an underground country
100%.
scene? Really?
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's artists that like don't get noticed that are great artists.
Definitely. Or at least, you know, don't get noticed by mainstream. I mean, it'd be just like underground hip hop or something. They may have a good following, but they're not on a major label or you know, really well known. Like earlier, I think it was before we started rolling, that I listened to a lot of older country growing up because my dad did, and I rode around with my dad. And of course, I didn't have an iPod or nothing. This was the 90s, so we listened to cassette tapes. Man. And I love all those old. I really like the thing I love about country music especially, which seems to be not always true in other genres. It is true, but in some genres, but telling stories through songs. Oh, yeah. Like literal stories, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that's a pretty common like theme in a lot of my music is it just comes out that way. Like when I think of a song, it has to be a story. And it's never really just like it's never really just, it makes sense. Like if you wrote the lyrics down and handed it to somebody, and some people write music that's really more about how it makes you feel than what it says, which is cool. Yeah. I just can't really do that.
I know what you mean. It's like for the party environment. But
or even some of like the rock bands, even some of like Nirvana's like songs and things like that. I mean, you can't really, at least I can't. Of course, I'm just an old redneck, but can't even really like hear what's going on, you know, or what's exactly being said. Okay. But it sounds good, you know, and it makes you feel a certain way. And there's a whole talent to doing that as well. Yeah. You know, that's hard. I will say like that is hard to just constantly recreate that sound and like that emotion in people. Yes. Without telling a story, that's hard. Yes. Yeah. That's talent. And it's, you know, I think the best of both worlds is if you can tell a story, but that also it's not so people can relate to it. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, this could be about anybody, but at least it elicits an emotion in somebody that's they're like, yeah, you know, that makes me feel a certain way, and that's what you want to do as a musician is you want to have like an emotional connection. You know, you want people to connect to it. It really doesn't matter how they feel. If they feel some way about it, you know, maybe not. Maybe anger wouldn't be good, but maybe it would. I don't know. Maybe it would because they feel something. They feel something. Yeah, you're getting them worked up about it. If you get somebody's feelings, I mean, they're putting a lot of investment into you. They are. You know. Yeah. And that's true with just personal relationships too. You know, anytime you feel a certain way about somebody, you're giving that person a big space in your life. True. And it's easy to do. You know to hate somebody you've only seen on TV or to that you don't even know. And people just be worked up about it all the time. And I've done it before. Right? We all do. We all have. I think we all do. We all have, you know, but it really is silly when you sit back and think about it. Like, what am I doing here, man? Like, this person don't care about me. They don't even know I exist. Literally do not even know you exist. Yeah. Probably do not care about you at all. Yeah. You know? You're so insignificant on the grand scheme of things to somebody that's like that, you know, whether it be a politician or like something that an athlete or a movie star does or whatever, and everybody gets so worked up about it. Yeah. I ain't worried about it, man. Garrett Bradford ain't worried about much, honestly, man.
I like it.
I'm just trying to keep a tree from falling on me and trying to wake up every morning. That's it.
What is one song or like the first song that you could vividly remember that just kind of sparked something in you that you heard?
I think would probably be, the Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash, which that's super generic.
Prison Blues. Okay.
I mean, that's on people, people that are big country fans or at least country singers would probably kind of be like, oh my gosh, but because everybody knows, that's like one of the first songs a lot of people learn.
Okay.
But, I was like, man, this is cool. This guy's telling this story about how he's whatever in prison, listening to a train go by. And just the story of it, I remember hearing it. I was young. I mean, I don't know how young I was, and picturing it in my head. And I was like, man, I wonder if this is a real story. I wonder if this really, And the fact that it made me think that way was really cool. I was like, man, something different. And I'd probably heard lots of songs that would have made me think that too. But I finally got old enough to really think about what they were saying or like understand what they're saying. Yeah. And then from there on, there's a lot of Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, different songs like that I could really just interested me. I was like, man, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. So, and I guess I am doing it. Not to that level yet, but
I'm sure they all started somewhere too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
They all did, man.
Yeah.
It's really, when you look at people that are successful, a lot of times you realize they weren't successful until they were 35 or 40.
Yes.
I'm nowhere near that. So
yeah,
I think a lot of people nowadays get to thinking that, if you're going to be successful at something, most things don't have a timetable. I know sports kind of do.
Sports does,
something like that. Yeah. But maybe modeling or something might. But most things don't. Yeah.
And I like that. I like to believe I'm a late bloomer.
You probably are.
I try to just take my time with stuff now. I used to try to rush things. Like I would have these ideas and I would expect them to happen like same year or something like that. But now I'm
discouraged.
You get discouraged. Yeah.
You gotta enjoy the process and have realistic expectations, and not to be pessimistic. But like when I released this EP, like there's a lot of people, and at some point I might have thought this too, that like would really think they're gonna release this EP and that it's just gonna become
blow.
It's just gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on world tour next year. Is it possible? Yes.
It is possible. It's possible.
Probable? No. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be disappointed if that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping, like, hey, I'm going to put it out there and maybe some people will enjoy it.
Yeah.
So then anything other than on top of that is just cream on the taco,
That's some country ass shit. Yeah.
This Mexican guy I know named Antonio, he always says that.
Cream on the taco?
A little cream on the taco. Or if somebody's lying or exaggerating, he'll be like, oh, I think he put so much cream on the taco.
Oh, okay, I get it. It's like you gassing.
Yeah, I love that saying.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. We've been going about 50 minutes, man. We got probably 10 minutes left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If there's anything that you would share with people, like I do this often, like where you are now, like. If you could just think back to a time in your life when you were like young and like not everything made sense and you was kind of like searching for understanding, like knowing what you know now, like the experiences that you had, if you could like speak to your younger self, like what would you say?
I would probably go back to some of those really awful times I was having after I was in that car wreck.
Okay.
And I think that probably what I would tell myself is to get control of your thoughts. I think that's something that a lot of people are under the belief that they can't control what they think about all day, and that's wrong. Yeah. For most people, and maybe there is some kind of condition, but that really is wrong for most people.
Yeah.
And I think I've had people that have shared things with me, and I just can't get over this, and they find out about maybe something that I've been through, and they're like, I wish I could be like you, and it just didn't bother me. I'm like, well, man, it does, but like it was hard, but for a long time I had to make a conscious decision not to dwell on negativity.
Yeah.
to slow my mind down, to focus on positivity. And even if I didn't feel like it, just fake it till you make it. Because if you vocalize things in the sense of, if somebody asks how you're doing, and you feel terrible, you know, I would just always pretend like, man, honestly, I'm doing really good. Yeah. And if I said it, I felt a little bit better.
Hey, you speak it into the universe.
Right?
Like, yeah.
You know, it's, you know, you hear people saying stuff like that, but it's very true. And just not letting your circumstances control your outlook, you know. Yeah. And it's That's okay big. to have emotions and things like that, and to be sad about things. In fact, it's really good, and that's what I would say. You know, a lot of times when something bad happens, there's a certain amount of pain you're going to have to experience to get over
necessary pain. You have to experience it. Yeah, you have to.
A certain amount of grief and loss and things like that, and if you avoid that, I think you know it's just going to manifest itself in other aspects of your life. But if you just kind of take it, process it, and you know, not be super distracted. And really, it's like whenever I was in jail, in a lot of ways that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I had nothing to distract me. I was just there to process what had happened, and I came out of there a lot better off than I went in.
That's mentally. Good. That's good.
And I was surprised at that.
Wow.
And it sucked at a lot of times, you know. Like a lot of times I really was down, and you could say depressed. I don't know I mean, it's not a mental disorder if you're feeling something normal. I mean, when something like that happens, you're supposed to be sad. Yeah. If something bad happens to you, you're supposed to be a little upset about it. And depending on how bad it is, you might be real upset about it. Yep. So that's kind of the way I think about it, at least.
Oh, yeah, man. A good friend of mine, and like I can't remember the name because my memory is. But they say you don't have to entertain every thought. Because like you're gonna think stuff all day long.
100%.
And if you don't have to entertain everything that you think,
you can practice that. You know, you can like sometimes I'll just lay down at night and I'll just try to think about nothing, which is way harder than you think. If anybody wants to try this, you know, sit there and try to think about nothing. Okay. And thoughts will start popping into your mind. Why? I don't know.
Just random.
The most random things ever.
Yeah.
But instead of like don't freak out. Yeah. And say, I need to. I shouldn't be thinking about. Just imagine it like coming down a river, and you're standing on the bank of the river, and it's like it's log floating down the river or something. Yep. And just let it pass, and then eventually. Like you'll have these thoughts pop up, and it's really. It sounds like I'm saying some woo-woo weird
I'm
stuff.
right here with you. But, I'm right here with you.
But you know, it just goes like one in one ear, out the other. Yeah. You know, this thought just you have it, and it just goes away. And it takes a little practice, but eventually, like you can get to where you can sit there and literally think of nothing and not be sleeping. You know, like it depends on how your day is going. If you're all wound up, it might be harder. Yeah. But it's nuts, you know, and once you learn to do that, and once you learn to, something comes into your mind, I'm not going to entertain that, then you really have control over what your outlook is and what you choose to entertain. And that's always, to me, I try to entertain positive things that make me happy, things that are productive and constructive to my goals. Yeah. And if I can let the other ones pass by and latch on to the good ones, you know, it really becomes pretty easy when you think about it like that.
That's what's up, man. We're going to get into this last song, man. Honkiest the Tonkers.
Let's do it.
Garrett Bradford in the building. Well, there we go.
There it is.
I heard that, too. That last
Well, I won't tell you no lies. All I speak is the truth. The only square thing about me is the toe on these boots. Ain't too much I ain't heard, even less I ain't seen. I ain't got no gray hair, but partner, I ain't green. I'm a high-headed, unleaded tone, and I'm a stomper. Man of the people, the honkiest of Tonkers.
Honkiest the Tonkers. This has been Catch You on the Rebound with my man Garrett Bradford.
Signing out,
yo.
Catch you on the rebound.
It's a wrap. Love it. Hey, man, that was dope. I gotta hear this track.
Yeah,
Hold on. I gotta hear this mud.